Hello, I'm Mackenzie, a youth services librarian with the Beaverton City Library. And right now, for me at least, it's November, which means it's Native American Heritage Month. And if you're not already doing so, this is a great time to celebrate Native and Indigenous lives and read related stories. This month, I've been talking about a few classic children's books that many people have nostalgic feelings about, including myself. Books like Little House on the Prairie and Indian in the Cupboard. And this video is about Island of the Blue Dolphins by Scott Odell, which is sometimes requested by adults for their children or students to read, and I've often seen it on lists titled Best Native American Books for Children. I remember reading and enjoying this book when I was younger. However, I recently learned that this book does include harmful depictions of Native and Indigenous peoples and culture. So I'm just going to talk about some of the critiques and give some alternative book recommendations. A few things I want to start off with. I read this book as a child, and I truly enjoyed reading it when I was younger. Historical fiction, features a girl character, and an emotional read. It ticked many boxes for my childhood tastes. However, as I said, as an adult, I learned about the hurtful misrepresentations of Native and Indigenous peoples and learned that there are better options that more authentically and accurately depict Native and Indigenous peoples and culture. I also want to acknowledge that I am a white woman, and I am heavily borrowing research and critical analysis from Dr. Debbie Reese, who founded AICL, or American Indians in Children's Literature. She's kind of the go-to person when it comes to children's literature featuring Native and Indigenous peoples. Okay, to start off with, Island of the Blue Dolphins includes the problematic many moons ago cliche. On page 1 of this version, our narrator says that her brother was small for one who had lived so many suns and moons. And Debbie Reese says that writers often use this cliche when attempting to write from an Indigenous or Native point of view. Attempting. Additionally, Scott Odell shows a misunderstanding of the language. Karana's common name translates to the girl with the long black hair. And Debbie Reese points out that this doesn't make sense because many Indigenous and Native girls had long black hair. Scott Odell also had Karana use several words that aren't actually words in the Kroger or Hardacre languages. And my apologies if I mispronounced either of those. Finally, in this version's introduction, Professor Zena Sutherland often conflates the true story of Juana Maria, whom this story is based on, with the fictional story of Karana, which is harmful to the historical accuracy of Juana Maria's life when you're mixing the two. Now, you can choose to have direct conversations with your kids about this book. You can also choose to read books like Buffalo Bird Girl by S.D. Nelson. Now, this is a nonfiction book, and it's for slightly younger readers. Island of the Blue Dolphins is recommended for grades 5 to 8, whereas Buffalo Bird Girl is recommended for grades 3 to 6. But it is an accurate depiction of life for a young Native girl. This would also be a great book to read instead of or in addition to The Little House on the Prairie, because it is set in the Dakotas during roughly that same time period. For slightly older readers, I recommend The Marrow Thieves by Cherie Dimaline, recommended for grades 8 to 12. From the back cover it says, in a world nearly destroyed by global warming, the indigenous people of North America are being hunted for their bone marrow, which carries the key to recovering something the rest of the population has lost, the ability to dream. Frenchie and his companions, struggling to survive, don't yet know that one of them holds the secret to defeating the Marrow Thieves. This is an absolutely heartbreaking and hopeful survival story, and it was probably my most recommended book of 2019. If you are interested in more books, I recommend using Debbie Reese's suggestions for how to best choose Native and Indigenous stories. Number 1, choose books that are tribally specific. No story can be a pan-Native or pan-Indigenous story because all the tribes are pretty unique from each other. their own languages and customs. Number 2, use present tense verbs to talk about Native nations. Native and Indigenous stories do not just belong in the past. Native peoples are continuing to live and celebrate their culture in the present day, and they could even have stories set in the future. Number 3, choose books by Native writers, whether they're about Native characters or not. Both the Marrow Thieves and Buffalo Bird Girl are both written by Native writers. And number 4, have your children and students read books by Native writers all year round, not just in November. Now remember, Beaverton City Library staff are happy to help you find more culturally relevant and appropriate books. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.